All right, we are back with another one. We are about to talk Conor McGregor finally getting that fight with Michael Chandler. And what is that going to mean for the rest of his career if he was to win or lose? I think that's really one of the most important points that I want to bring up that may be missing in this particular equation. I think it's easy to say that Conor's going to win just based on what? Based on the fact that we've seen him look good against Dustin Poirier just before he broke his leg. But rest assured, his broken leg is always going to be a factor. It's always going to be a factor. But you know what? Him being a pay-per-view draw is always going to be a factor as well, considering that he does nothing but bring classics after classics. And speaking of classics, let me give you a little bit of a shot of this classic Impala right here, just to show you the kind of culture that we have out here in the West Coast. Take a look at this right here. Check out that Impala right here. Look at that. See? All right. So hopefully you guys got a good shot of that Impala while we tune out to some West Coast gangster music up in here, while we're also talking about Conor McGregor on top of it. So look, here's the thing with Conor McGregor that you got to understand, okay? He has to win this fight in order for his next fight to be even bigger. You also got to take into consideration that the UFC has a contract with just 2 fights left. And they even have an option of either extending his contract or perhaps maybe sabotaging him on his way out. And Michael Chandler is the starting point of that. So let's say he loses. Can he go and fight Tony Ferguson next? That's a possibility. Now, why would Tony Ferguson perhaps be a better fight for his next upcoming matchup if he was to lose? For one, it's a whole lot more winnable, at least on paper. But then again, what if he loses that one as well? Not in a way where he gets finished, but in a way where, let's say, it goes to a decision. And from there, I think we really have to think about his whole entire career at the highest level. And remember, the last 2 fight contracts are absolutely the mark of trying to understand this whole entire contract negotiations and how they were able to put this fight right into, the right path and the right road. And I gotta tell you, I think that if Conor McGregor was to win this one, then rest assured, he's going to be able to, let's say, have a better contract negotiation and even renewing his contract just right before he re-signs for a new one. Okay, why do I say that and why do I know that? Because if he was to fight Max Holloway, I guarantee you that fight would be even way bigger than it would have ever been originally, and even way bigger, obviously, than their first rematch when they were just 2 prospects coming up at the 145 division. So that's a big money fight right there. It's going to make his contract negotiations go a whole lot smoother in terms of renewing his contract before he can even finish out the last 2. Now, right now, I honestly think that the UFC is trying to run his contract out dry because they haven't come to a certain conclusion. Other than the conclusion of knowing that Conor is at the tail end of his career, and not only that, as a result of that tail end of Conor McGregor's career, they're going to ride him out, allow him to box in Saudi Arabia, so this way they can still maintain a relationship with the Saudis and his excellent one, His Excellency, who is putting on fights from boxing to MMA and now into UFC and maybe even other realms of sports that they're already doing. But anyways, That's what they're trying to do. Dry out Conor McGregor because they are in the realization of his limits. And I gotta tell you, that's very sad to say, considering that when Conor McGregor first bursted into the scene, it was not only magical, but you can remember moments. Remember this, when he goes, da-da-da-da-da, it's whatever, whatever, you know the song, right? It's basically the next episode song with Snoop, sung by Conor McGregor in his own variation of that song, while he's driving around, or riding around rather, in a bicycle in Santa Monica to Venice Beach. Okay, those are magical times. And then when he was climbing onto those ropes and then doing those obstacle courses right there on Muscle Beach, right? By the way, the same place that I've also gone to in Santa Monica as well. So those are magical moments that I can remember as somebody that first saw Conor McGregor and was, like anybody else, was very wowed by his performance, his persona, and not only that, how he puts it all together in this entertainment package. And then somewhere down the line, he got that Floyd Mayweather fight and it went down the hill from there. Why? I gotta tell you why. He had too much money, too much fame, it got to his head, and quite frankly, the fight with Floyd Mayweather really damaged him. That is the unfortunate thing about it, is that it absolutely damaged Conor McGregor. You want proof? Take a look at what happened when he got hit with that overhand right by Khabib in the next following matchup that he did after the Floyd fight, which was Khabib. For the first time ever, the best boxer in MMA gets knocked down simply because of his fight with Floyd Mayweather. Now, can you imagine if, let's say, Max Holloway was to get into a boxing match with Terence Crawford, and only for Terence Crawford to absolutely ruin him? I don't think we would have seen the type of performance that we saw in Max against Justin Gaethje if that was the case. And that's the God-honest truth. Because boxing can absolutely damage you in this sport. Just like now, Francis Ngannou coming back into MMA. Do you honestly think that he's going to be the same after that Anthony Joshua fight? I think not. Especially when they're asking him to already come back in the PFL to fight a 6'8" Brazilian who just knocked out Ray Invader, by the way, within 30 seconds. So take of that as you will, right? That's the reality of this whole situation. Boxing can absolutely ruin you while you are doing MMA, and Conor McGregor is an example of that. So that is the unfortunate thing about his legacy and his point. And not only that, all the other scandals that he's gone through. We're talking about when he threw out that woman, off the ship, or the yacht that he was in Ibiza. By the way, was an old classmate of his. And then the smashing of the cell phone, the punching of the old man in the bar, and the list goes on and on